Rodney, we spent some time talking about the Colts this year, and who would have ever dreamed last year at this time that Phillip Rivers would be the starting quarterback? I mean, Andrew Luck supposedly had another 10 years or more. Now it's a guy who's been around since 2004. You never played with him in San Diego with the Chargers. Drew Brees was the quarterback when you were there, but you played against Phillip Rivers. You know what it's like to face him. You've watched his career. The big question I have is, which Phillip Rivers still exists? Is it the guy last year that had so many struggles and had 7 interceptions in back-to-back primetime games, or is it the guy we saw earlier in the career? What do you think, after watching Phillip Rivers, especially in recent years, what do you think he's still got left as he heads to Indianapolis?
I think first and foremost, I think he needed a change, Mike. I just think he needed a change of environment, change of atmosphere. You look at all his struggles last year, a lot of it was offensive line, a lot of it him running for his life, forcing the ball down the field, trying to make something happen. And you just saw the frustration, the consistent frustration of Phillip Rivers. Now he's behind one of the best offensive lines in all of football. They drafted some young guys, a young running back, a nice wide receiver. You still have T.Y. Hilton, Jack Doyle at the tight end spot. I think the Colts can make some noise. I think it's going to come down to their defense, but overall, I believe they can make some noise.
Yeah, Rodney, I want to go off of that a little bit, like with their defense, like you talked about. That, to me, you all good? You got it all fixed up there? Is one of the big questions with them, right? Like, difference-making players. They got DeForest Buckner. You know, the secondary, I think, is a little underwhelming other than Moore. You know, what is your outlook on their defense? We know they got those stud linebackers, but, oh, damn, we lost them.
There he went.
Man.
We'll get him back. Go ahead. Keep going. We'll get him back.
Yeah.
I wondered why he got up and started moving. I guess he figured something was going on. Maybe somebody was playing Fortnite in the house like you're used to.
Yeah.
There he is.
What happened?
You got us?
I got frozen. My internet got frozen.
Well, I mean, when you live in a fortress, it's hard to get an internet, connection at times.
But Chris, back to my Phillip Rivers point.
Go.
I think behind the offensive line, with all the young weapons that they have, T.Y. Hilton, I think this offense can be really, really good. And I think, after talking to one of my buddies over there in the Colts, they're really excited about Phillip Rivers. They feel like they have a chance. They like his leadership. They like his accuracy. They like everything that he brings. And I think he's going to be really good for him.
The defense, though, Rodney, to me, like you said, that's the question. Do you think DeForest Buckner, a guy like Xavier Rhodes on the outside? I question their secondary a little bit. I don't look at that as a top-notch group maybe. But you think their defense can turn the corner this year and be a little bit more of a force?
I look at their defense. I think their defense can be solid. You talk about DeForest Buckner. I think he's a huge addition. He's a guy that reminds me of an ex-teammate of mine, Richard Seymour, a big physical presence in the middle. He's really just bringing that toughness, bringing that ability to play inside and just that ability to put pressure on the quarterback. I think that was a big pickup for him.
Rodney, we've got Phillip Rivers in Indianapolis with a great offensive line, Tom Brady in Tampa Bay with a great set of weapons around him, receivers, tight ends, etc. What do you think is more important and more desired for a quarterback, to have a great line or to have a great set of receivers, tight ends, and running backs?
Well, that's difficult. I think it depends, too, on who you are as a quarterback. If you're a quarterback that can't move and you need some protection, and it also depends on the scheme. I mean, if you're one of those teams that get the ball out quick and, you don't have to worry about, like Tom Brady over the last 20 years, getting the ball out of his hands quick. You don't have to worry about taking those hits. But to me, I think it's weapons, ultimately, because if you have weapons, it's hard to defend all those weapons across the board. So you have to ask some quarterbacks. I don't know. Ask Chris. What would you prefer to have?
Well,
Chris?
no. I mean, you said it a little bit. There's a lot of depending factors. I went with the offensive line ultimately just because I kind of just said, if you're saying, great offense, like you're saying, might be able to get away with it. But the normal offenses, the middle-of-the-road average offenses in football, I don't know if they're creative enough to get the ball out of the guy's hands and things like that, to where I go, that's why I'd rather have the pass protection to let things develop down the field, have a little run game with that line up there, all those type of things. But I hear your logic there, too. I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I want to go back to the Colts in the South, though, a little, Rodney. Like, the South is quietly one of the more intriguing divisions in football in the AFC. Titans, Final Four. Colts, we're talking about them. We know Deshaun Watson's still there. How do you see it playing out down there?
I look at the Colts as probably being the third best team in that division. Obviously, Tennessee had a huge year last year. I continue to look for them to get better on offense. I think they're going to be still good on defense. The Houston Texans, man, to me, and I think, Mike, you brought up a very important point yesterday. I caught you guys' show for about 5 minutes, but you talked about a crutch for Deshaun Watson, and that was DeAndre Hopkins. And I think you were spot on. I think now that he's gone, they got all these receivers, these veteran guys, Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb. I think it's going to make him a better, more complete quarterback, because when he got in trouble, that was his crutch. It was DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to find DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to hold the ball to try to make a big play all the time with DeAndre Hopkins. So I think you were spot on yesterday when you talked about that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.